Well, I wasn't sleeping. I was thinking. That's it. Next, on Table Talk. Hi, and welcome to Table Talk. Glad you could join us for this second part of me sharing with you some of my thoughts about the rapture, end times, and how current events may connect with those. Now, if you haven't seen part one yet, why don't you go ahead, click on the link that's in the description below, and give it a once over. Don't worry, I'll be here when you get back. Hey, I see you're back. Great. Now that you know a little bit about the rapture and what it is, and know a little bit about my viewpoint on the rapture, let's dive right in on some of my other thoughts. As you know, 2020 has been an interesting year so far, to say the least. So many things have happened, and it seems that the COVID-19 pandemic has taken center stage. It's worldwide. Every country, no matter how big or small, has been impacted by this virus in one way or another. This small little virus came running at the human race at full speed, and it hit us, and it hit us hard. So hard, in fact, that we basically shut down the entire world. Schools were shut down. Sporting events and concerts were canceled. Entertainment venues such as movie theaters, stage, and amusement parks were all closed. Restaurants and bars became a thing of the past, as well as gyms and beauty salons. We were told not to touch each other. No handshakes, no hugs, no nothing. And we were to stay in our homes. And this was only the first wave of the pandemic. Experts around the world agree that a second wave is coming. And this time, especially here in North America, it'll be coming during the cold and flu season. And scientists say they have no idea what to expect if a person becomes infected with both the COVID-19 and the influenza virus at the same time. My prediction? Another lockdown is on its way. And this time, it would be even more strict than it was before. You see, in the first lockdown, people still left their homes, especially in your small rural towns. Certain businesses were considered essential, so employees had to leave to go to work. By the way, aren't all jobs essential? I mean, you're out there working, right, to support your family, keeping food on the table, shelter over their heads. You're contributing to your community's economy. To me, that's essential. But that's another story. Let's get back to what we were talking about. Workers would leave to go to work. People would leave their homes to buy groceries and other supplies. People would go to doctor appointments or go out exercising. There was always some excuse to leave the house. But with this next lockdown, it won't be that way. You see, during this first lockdown, stores and restaurants have gotten most of the bugs out of their online ordering systems. Groceries can be delivered to your home. Most doctor visits can be done virtually. Heck, you can even buy a car or even a house now online. We don't have to go anywhere. And with this upcoming lockdown, we won't be able to. With this next lockdown, we'll get to the point that if anybody leaves their home, they can be given a citation and or arrested. Sounds harsh, I know, and even unbelievable, but it will happen. Italy was almost at that point during this first lockdown. And why should people leave their homes? After all, they have everything they need right there. But I believe that the peak of this lockdown, when all this is going to happen, is going to be at the beginning, sometime in the beginning of this new year of 2021. As you may know, I believe that the rapture will be soon. And I've talked about this in previous videos, which I'll link below. Now, with everybody locked down in their homes, what better time for the rapture to occur? You know, for years, I've always heard about a secret rapture. And I've always thought, how can that be? How can the instantaneous disappearance of thousands of people go unnoticed? Now, seeing what's happening in this world, it seems very plausible. You see, with the majority of people being secluded in their homes, a disappearance of thousands could go unnoticed for days or even weeks. Even now, I have neighbors that I only see once a week or so. And what will happen when these people are finally reported as missing by family and friends? Well, of course, an investigation will be conducted by some type of government agency. The reason I say government agency is because we're not going to have that many police around to do any type of investigation because they're being defunded. And what will this agency's conclusion be? They'll come out and say that these people all died from the COVID-19 virus. And what's the best way to help slow the spread of this highly contagious virus? You simply incinerate the bodies. And this will be one, perhaps out of many, explanations that will be given for the disappearance of thousands. Sounds absurd, I know. How can people so easily believe that their loved ones died from a virus and then were cremated without their permission? Well, I believe that some of this is already beginning to happen. That some of these deaths that are happening now are being erroneously reported as COVID-19 deaths. You see, lies start out small. And when they've taken hold, that's when they begin to grow. Take, for instance, wearing a mask. We've all been told that we need to wear masks to help slow the spread of the virus. Some states have even made it mandatory. I've also done a video on this, which I'll link below, but basically, I believe it's one of the first steps in conditioning us. And we so easily accept it without question. And if we so easily accept what the government tells us about masks, then isn't it plausible that sometime in the future we will also accept the explanation that they give us for the disappearance of our loved ones? You know, conditioning is necessary. The Bible tells us that there is coming a day when people will not be able to buy or sell their goods unless they have a certain mark, the mark of the beast. Now, normally, people would not put up with things like that, but after a certain amount of conditioning, people will accept it without question. Now, what is the mark of the beast? I don't know for sure, but I do believe that it could be some type of microchip that is placed under your skin, or even some type of tattoo, such as what is being developed by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. But whatever it is, you're not going to be able to sell or buy anything without it. And when it's scanned, the funds from your bank would be transferred from your account to pay for whatever you're buying. Cash will no longer be necessary. We would be living in a cashless society. Now, for at least the last 10 years, I've been saying that we are heading toward a cashless society. Credit and debit cards are so much easier to use, and I'm just as guilty of using them as the next person. We as a people do not carry cash in our pockets like we used to. And when ordering online, whether it be for groceries, food, or supplies, electronic transactions are the only viable way of paying. And now with this COVID-19 pandemic, the public is becoming afraid of using cash. After all, the virus could be passed from one person to another via a dollar bill. And in some areas of this country, this has definitely become an issue. There is a coin shortage happening, and there are some stores now that do not accept cash payments. And if they do, some of them impose a fee in order to round up to the nearest dollar. Cash is becoming a thing of the past. Well, what's wrong with that, you may ask? Well, in a cashless society, you won't be able to make that little extra money that you may need in order to get you through the month. In a cashless society, teenagers would not be able to do those little jobs like cutting grass and babysitting in order to earn a little extra cash for a movie or gas in the car. In a cashless society, control of our money is turned over to the government. With a press of a button, our assets could easily be frozen. And we are quickly approaching that level of control. A society where you will not be able to buy things unless you have the mark, because cash will become obsolete. It will be worthless. Now, you may say that we've been in positions like this before in the past, and yes, that's true. We have been through pandemics, and we have survived. We have been through economic disasters, and we have survived. We have been through wars and times of famine, and we've survived. We've even survived technological breakthroughs. But have we been through all of these things at the same time, along with the technology that exists today? No, we have not. This is the first time in human history that all of these conditions exist simultaneously. The technology exists that can bring about a cashless society. The technology exists that would enable a tracking device or chip to be placed in your body and used to buy or sell items. The Bible tells us that in the latter days of the tribulation, there will be 2 witnesses for God that will be assassinated, and their bodies will lay in the streets for all the world to see. 20 years or so ago, that would have not have been possible. But with the technology that we have today, that event could easily be streamed live without any difficulty. The whole world would be able to see it. Now, I believe a new administration will soon take over here in the U.S. An administration that will sink us further than where we are today, morally and spiritually. An administration that will not be kind to Israel. And because of this, Israel will soon become surrounded by her enemies. Yes, my friend, the end is coming, and it is coming quickly. Look around you at what this world has become. The divisions that is happening among the people, the hate that exists, the lack of love between neighbors. There is no more shame in this world, and we are loving the creature more than the Creator. And it's only getting worse. This earth is moaning with birth pangs. The end is near. Are you ready for it? Do you know Jesus as your Savior? If not, today's the day. Today is the day of salvation. Believe that Jesus Christ died for you, that He shed His blood on the cross at Calvary for your sins. Believe that He was buried, and 3 days later He arose, just as the Scriptures foretold. You don't have to go through the tribulation. You can be part of the rapture. Trust in Jesus. And until next time, stay safe, and may the good Lord take a liking to you. Bye now.